So the liberal left tells you to follow the science. Okay. Well, did you know you can scientifically prove this statement, liberalism is a mental disorder?
Can you scientifically prove that? I'm all ears. Take it away.
75% of a human brain mass is made up of a substance called myelin. Myelin is 100% made up of cholesterol.
So it's actually pronounced myelin with an N at the end, not myelum. And myelin is composed of 80% lipids or fats and 20% protein. And cholesterol makes up 40% of the lipids in myelin. So not 100%. Not sure where you got that number, but continue.
Now it's funny because Alzheimer's didn't exist before 1979.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you there again. That's not correct. So the first ever reported case of Alzheimer's was in 1906 when Dr. Alzheimer discovered it. So not 1979. So a couple of decades off there, Chief, but keep going.
It's weird, too, because that's when we started to see products like margarine and other things come onto the market to replace butter because they were low cholesterol or no cholesterol alternatives, and they're literally one molecule away from being plastic.
So sorry to interrupt again, but that also isn't true. So that whole talking point that margarine is just one molecule away from being plastic is a well-debunked myth. Margarine is primarily made up of hydrogenated vegetable oils like palm oil, olive oil, things like that. Whereas plastics are polymers of hydrocarbons like ethylene. Now, while both contain hydrogens and carbons, doesn't mean that they're interchangeable. I mean, you are made up of a lot of hydrogen and carbon, and you're not one molecule away from being plastic. So, sorry to interrupt again. Continue.
And we went from first finding Alzheimer's in 1979 to today, in 2024, Alzheimer's being one of the leading causes of death in the Western civilization, which is a neurological...
So remember, 1906, not 1979. And can you think of another reason why Alzheimer's might be a leading cause of death now in 2024? Think of what the most common risk factor for Alzheimer's is, and then think about it. It's age, right? So as people live longer, thanks to modern medicine, those people will succumb to diseases of old age like Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that. You're doing great, Chief. Keep it up.
You don't need to eat animals, when in fact you do, because that cholesterol that you need to keep those brain cells is in the animals and animal fats and butters that you eat. It's not in the vegetables that you eat that are...
Again, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but that is also incorrect. I don't know if you know this, but your body makes its own cholesterol. In fact, 80% of the cholesterol used in biological processes comes from you. You make it. I won't bore you with all the details, but there's a very complex biological process that occurs in your liver that actually makes your own cholesterol. So you don't need to get it from your diet. But sorry to interrupt again. Keep going.
According to studies coming out of the psychological world, people who identify as liberal have a higher instance of mental disorder. That's scientifically proven.
So that's not true, right? You just made that up. And when you make claims like that, saying that things are scientifically proven, you should cite your sources. Otherwise, you could just be pulling stuff out of your butt and passing it off as the truth. But we know that there aren't those studies, right? Okay, take us home, Chief.
Liberalism is a mental disorder because you're devoid of cholesterol and you're losing brain cells.
So I definitely just lost some brain cells, but I don't think it's because of a lack of cholesterol. Yeesh.